LEGO Ninjago Masters of Spinjitzu would first begin on January 14th of 2011, a date in time that would end up changing and influencing mine and many other lives in an incredibly substantial way. To this day, the Ninjago series still continues on. Over the course of its incredibly long run, Ninjago has gone by different names and has changed and evolved in numerous other ways. But at its core, it has still managed to stay the very same series that I and plenty other members of the Ninjago community fell in love with all those years ago in 2011. I would be completely lying if I said that Ninjago is perfect. God knows it never has been and never will be. Much like everything else, Ninjago 2 has its many flaws, and over the course of its long run, it has certainly had a couple of stumbles every now and again. I have trashed on certain pieces of Ninjago history enough for one lifetime, so I'll let you fill in the blank on that one. I feel as if the way that Ninjago has somehow been able to last for this long can be easily summarized with one of the most iconic quotes from the series itself. Ninja never quit. Much like our favourite characters within the show, the Ninjago series itself has faltered time and time again. But no matter how bad something ends up being, Ninjago just refuses to stay down, constantly picking itself back up and coming back better than ever, always reminding us as to why this is the series that we all cherish more than our own family. No, that's just me. It would be an understatement to say that Ninjago means a great deal to me, as it genuinely means the world to me. I know that sounds totally pathetic, and trust me, it's only going to get more pathetic from this point onwards, but I do hope that by the end of this silly little internet video, you'll understand as to why Ninjago means so incredibly much to me and a whole bunch of people within the Ninjago community, shedding some light onto how this one children's toy managed to garner so much love and inspire thousands of people. Even after all these years, I can still remember first watching the trailer for the Ninjago pilot on my crappy little red laptop I had at the time and becoming completely enamored by this new LEGO show, a moment that, unbeknownst to me at the time, would completely change the course of my life forever. I still don't know if that's a good thing or not, honestly. Every year, I do a massive Ninjago rewatch, starting from the very beginning of Ninjago and watching all the way up to whatever is the most recent season at the time. And when I mean a massive Ninjago rewatch, I mean a massive Ninjago rewatch, not daring to skip a single thing as I watch every single episode and short ever released for Ninjago. I always look forward to rewatching the fever dream that is Wu's tease. I always look forward to doing this massive Ninjago rewatch. Even if it can somewhat be a bit overwhelming and tedious with the amount of content, it never fails to remind me why I love this stupid children's toy so much. Every time I rewatch the first few episodes and hear the iconic early soundtrack, I immediately get transported back to being a younger age and scouring the internet for every kind of Ninjago content on my little red laptop I had at the time. My younger years and Ninjago are so incredibly linked together. Whenever I remember something from all those years ago, Ninjago always managed to somehow rear its ugly head into my memory. A particular memory that always stuck with me involves the first official teaser for Rebooted. I remember being at school and this poster was the only thing that I could think of. It was like it had been permanently burnt into my brain, as all day my mind was just going crazy thinking about what was going to happen when Ninjago returned. Since we're on the topic of Ninjago and school, I should probably take this time to finally come clean about that time I'm pretty sure I tried to steal another kid's golden Lloyd. The kid totally had it coming though, alright? If you were a Ninjago fan back then, you would know how valuable and insane this golden Lloyd figure was. I also think I once tried to scam a kid out of their golden Lloyd by promising to give them a Mr. Gold, which I absolutely did not own. While I'm laying out my dirty laundry, I might as well bring up the fact that I used to bring Ninjago minifigures to school with me, going as far as to even place them on the seat beside me and pretend that the real Lloyd Garmadon had actually come to school with me. I would make a joke about me being a total loser back then, but let's be honest, not much has changed. Now I bring my Ninjago figures when signing my divorce papers. Okay, that's more than enough embarrassing and pathetic moments from my life. Let's get back on track with this little tribute. I've seen a lot of Ninjago fans talk about going through a dark age with Ninjago, and I don't think I've ever had a Ninjago dark age myself. Sure, there was probably times when I wasn't as excited about this series after watching a disappointing batch of episodes, but whenever I did feel myself slipping out of interest with Ninjago, the series always manages to do something to reel me right back in. I'm honestly kind of surprised I've never fallen out of interest with Ninjago. It's been going on for a very long time, and my interests as a person have changed drastically over the years. I've had many obsessions over the years that have come and gone, But no matter what I obsess over, Ninjago seems to always remain at the top. No matter how good my other obsessions were, they just couldn't beat that feeling of racing home to watch a brand new season of Ninjago or put together a brand new Ninjago set. Feelings that I'm sure everyone watching are all too familiar with. No matter how much my life changes or how old I get, I always feel like a kid on Christmas whenever something new for Ninjago releases. Even if the Ninjago movie wasn't the best thing ever, I can't deny that it is probably the most excited I've ever been about anything. Just imagining my favourite characters from my favourite show on the biggest possible screen was truly an insane concept for my 2017 self. I remember watching and going crazy over each and every piece of new footage or random content we got for the movie. Even if it was literally just 2 seconds of new footage or a random poster, that didn't stop me from repeatedly watching each and every trailer and TV spot over and over and over again until the day I finally got to watch the movie. A month late, by the way, thanks again for that, LEGO. I'd be remiss if I was talking all about my Ninjago nostalgia and younger years with the series if I didn't once bring up all the incredible fan-made content that has been produced over Ninjago's existence. As soon as I got back home from school or whatever I did that day, you best believe the first thing I did was throw myself onto my bed and fire up my old iPad to spend the rest of the day watching thousands of fan-made Ninjago videos on YouTube. Even dared to explore other avenues such as reading Wattpad fanfictions. I swear I never read any of those Ninja X Reader fanfictions. Out of all the different types of fan-made Ninjago content on YouTube, it was always the art of Ninjago stop motion that stood out from the rest. These stop motion videos had a total chokehold on the Ninjago YouTube scene back in the day, and were a huge part of mine and many others' childhood, satisfying that need for new Ninjago content with genuinely incredibly written and animated Ninjago stop motions. It's sad to see that the passion and love for this form of Ninjago content has diminished over the years, as I really do believe that Ninjago stop motions were truly something special. People putting so much work and effort into crafting their very own versions of the Ninjago world and telling their own story with their favorite characters in whatever way they wanted. It felt like everybody just had to have their very own Ninjago stop motion series. Which, yes, does indeed mean that even I had my very own Ninjago stop motion series. I thought this would be something I would take to my grave, but I suppose now is a better time than any to come clean. My back certainly hasn't let me forget about my days of making Ninjago stop motions. I already feel like I have the back of an 80-year-old. But I suppose that's just what I get for animating on the floor of my room that wasn't big enough for a desk. Watching my old stop motions now, it certainly doesn't seem like all that pain paid off. Even if my stop motion videos weren't all that good, and trust me, I knew that they were far from the best, I enjoyed making them, and really that's all that I cared about. I never really got the recognition of being a great stop motion creator that I always wanted, but that sense of creation I got from making my own Ninjago stories is genuinely worth way more to me. Imagining the way one of my scripts would look like fully animated in stop motion was a truly magical feeling. Picturing the way an action scene or a big pivotal moment would happen in one of my episodes brought me way too much excitement and joy. Although my stop motions didn't garner me thousands of subscribers or a mountain of wealth, I do owe them the fact that they forced me to upgrade from using my crummy phone that never seemed to have enough storage to buying an actual professional camera that would end up planting the seeds for my interest in photography. If it wasn't for Ninjago stop motions, I don't think I ever would have discovered my passion and love for photography. Collecting the Ninjago sets and figures is yet another passion that my eyes were opened up to thanks to Ninjago stop motions. It was so cool getting to own my very own version of the ninja in the palm of my hand, being able to use them to act out whatever Ninjago stories I wanted. I'm sure we can all recall what our first Ninjago set or figure was, whether it was your introduction to Ninjago or something you begged your parents to get you after you watched your first Ninjago episode. As much as I don't particularly enjoy Season 3, I do have to give it some respect for the fact that the Thunder Raider from 2014 was my first Ninjago set. I know, I'm such a fake Ninjago fan, my first set wasn't from 2011 or 2012. Back then, I wasn't really in a position to get many LEGO sets, so after ages of watching thousands of Ninjago set reviews and wanting a Ninjago set of my own, it felt incredible to finally own this one Ninjago set, which even came with my favorite ninja. Ninjago has well and truly been a part of every aspect of my life, and I genuinely wouldn't have it any other way. I've even used Ninjago for several college projects including Ninjago photography and a review of the Ninjago movie, so if I end up being a college dropout, you know why. As similar as it is to other shows and multimedia franchises, it's hard to really compare Ninjago to anything, as I really do believe that when compared to everything else out there, Ninjago is truly something special, the definition of catching lightning in a bottle. Of course, I am being extremely biased when I say this, as Ninjago is very much my series. Not that it solely belongs to me, but the fact that I've been a fan of Ninjago since the very start in 2011. And because of that, Ninjago just has a certain quality and shine to it that nothing else will ever have in my eyes. Sora put it best at the beginning of Dragon's Rising when she said that change can be scary. Life is all about change, which can be a very scary thing to face. I'm not going to say that I'm not afraid of change, because change is a genuinely terrifying concept. A whole lot of people fear change, and I definitely don't blame them. And I think that's another reason as to why Ninjago has become so unbelievably special to me. No matter how much me, my life, or the things around me changed, Ninjago and its characters are always right there, continuing to be the same series that I had loved for years on end. In the whirlwind of change we call life, Ninjago has time and time again been the only true constant, providing a consistent source of comfort with its characters and world that have flourished throughout the years despite the hectic amount of change happening around it. It's often said that change and growth isn't always visible, which is extremely true. Every day we change and grow in ways that we can't exactly measure or see, but through the help of Ninjago, I think we can all see just how far we've come and grown over the years watching the series. Seeing how much the ninja themselves have evolved and grown as characters since the beginning of the show is a great reflection of ourselves that reminds us that although we may not see it, we also have grown just as much as our beloved ninja. Lloyd is definitely the best example of this, starting off as a mere snot-nosed brat, but over the course of the series was able to mature into one of the greatest ninja and elemental masters Ninjago has ever seen, even becoming a master just like his uncle. I'm sure that at one point in our lives we've all seen ourselves in Lloyd, thanks to how well his maturing has been handled by the fantastic team behind this series. I think that the way Lloyd and Ninjago itself have been able to mature alongside its viewers is incredibly vital to its continued success, providing more mature concepts, storylines, and ideas to an audience that was growing up and maturing at the same time, giving them the type of content that they wanted to see as they began to grow up. The way I've been talking about Ninjago all throughout this video, you would think that it was some sort of super mature and highly sophisticated series made only for adults or older audiences, but Ninjago has, and always will be, a kid show, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. When Ninjago first started, I was like 5 or 6 years old, and now I'm like almost 3 times that age, and I still enjoy this silly little show made for kids more than anything else. To many people that might be the saddest thing they've heard, but to me that is such a testament to how well made Ninjago has and continues to be. A huge part of media is trying to teach lessons and inspire certain values in the viewers watching, and out of all the shows that I've watched, I think Ninjago does the best job of teaching these very important lessons and ideals, delivering them in such fantastic ways with brilliant writing. Sure, they might be occasionally the most simple and bare bones lesson ever, like never give up, but sometimes people just need to be reminded and inspired by these lessons and ideals. Some of my favourite Ninjago lessons and quotes from the show's run have got to be "Ninja never quit," "Never put off until tomorrow what can be done today," which as a fairly lazy person is something I have to tell myself way too often. "Change can be scary, but it's a chance for something new and better," the importance and benefits of forming friendships and working together in a team, and as it is shown by the ninja team, you don't exactly have to be related by blood to be a family. I could really go on all day about the lessons and ideals that Ninjago has instilled within me over the years, and hopefully many other watchers of the series. And I hope that, like me, many Ninjago fans intend to carry on these lessons and ideals in their lives long after Ninjago finally reaches its end, somewhat keeping the legacy of Ninjago alive, the incredible quotes and lessons the series has given us. As much as I don't want to admit it, the end of Ninjago is definitely inevitable. All good things must come to an end eventually, and that does unfortunately include our beloved Ninjago as well. At the moment, I'm not sure how much longer we have with Ninjago. Will it simply rebrand again after they reach the end of what they have planned for Dragon's Rising, or will they finally decide to hit that dreaded reboot button and start all over again? Whatever the future holds for Ninjago, I intend to be there for it all, no matter how long that may end up being, cherishing the last couple years we have with this series and its characters. Life can get pretty hard sometimes, and Ninjago has certainly been there for me and helped me get through those hard times, and I intend to do the same for Ninjago, paying it back for all those happy memories by sticking with it as it goes through its own hard times, not daring to give up on this series no matter how many bumps in the road it hits. It feels like all of my life I've been making Ninjago videos. I think it's almost been like 10 years since I first started to make Ninjago content on YouTube across different channels, and because of that, I certainly do owe Ninjago for birthing my love of content creation, which hopefully I'll be able to turn into a career in the future. Who knows, maybe I'll be so lucky to even work on the live action Ninjago movie. I've been rambling all about what Ninjago means to me, but now I want to know, what does Ninjago mean to you? How has this one simple series about LEGO Ninja impacted your life? What is your most precious memory related to Ninjago? And what exactly about Ninjago made you fall in love with the series? Following Ninjago for 14 years has certainly been one hell of a ride that I wouldn't give up for the world. The only thing I would ever give it up for would be to watch Ninjago for the very first time again, getting to relive what I felt the first time I watched the pilots and the first seasons of the show. I've thanked Ninjago itself plenty of times, but I think who we really need to thank are all of the incredible people who worked on the series over the years and helped shape Ninjago into what it is today. If it weren't for them, Ninjago wouldn't be where it is right now with such a bright future ahead, Ninjago being a shining beacon of light in so many of our lives. While we're celebrating and thanking those who have worked on Ninjago and had such an impact on our lives, let's not forget everyone behind Ninjago that have unfortunately passed away over the years, as well as the members of the Ninjago community who are sadly not here today to see what has become of Ninjago. Let this not just be a tribute to Ninjago, but also a tribute to them and everyone who has poured their hearts into creating what is no doubt my favourite series probably ever. It's hard to imagine living in a world without Ninjago, but when that time comes, I'll be sure to use what I've learned from Ninjago in my everyday life. As said by the creator of Ninjago himself, endings are never really endings. Only new beginnings, which can lead to something remarkable. Simply remarkable. But if you ask me, there will always be a need for a ninja.